All right, hello and welcome to the Intake Packet Zoom recording. This video will go over the intake packet, what I need from your organization or your chapter, depending on the semester. So I'm recording this in fall of 2025. But I plan on recording this call and using it in future semesters, so all of the general information should be the same. The only difference should be the dates. If anything changes down the road, then I will update the video. So even if you're watching this in a future semester, all of the information here should still apply. So to get started, I am going to share my screen. So I just have my Google search engine here, and I want to show you how you can find the intake packet on the website. I send this out every semester to presidents and advisors, but a lot of times I will get students or advisors who lose it in their email. So I want to show you where you can find it on the website if you ever need to. So I'm just going to search WKU NPHC. That's usually what I search to find the website. The first thing that pops up, you'll see National Panhellenic Council for WKU. And on the website here, you can scroll down, you can see the officers. As an FYI, all of your organizations have a page, so if you ever want to update the information or the photos there, then you can contact me. Scholarship information gets posted here, and then we're going to get into intake, which is here. All of the Greek 101 dates will be listed on this website for that semester. So for fall 2025, this is when the sessions are offered. There will be 3 more in the spring, and it is a requirement for any student joining an NPHC organization to attend a Greek 101 within a year of joining. So we are in fall 2025. So any student who attended a Greek 101 in fall 2024, spring 2025, or this semester, fall 2025, will be eligible for intake this semester. If a student wants to go to a Greek 101 this semester, that will be good until fall of 2026. So just keep that in mind. In those sessions, we go over general information about joining Greek life, but we also go over university policies, anti-hazing information, and it usually only lasts about an hour. So we do require all students to attend that, and no one on your line or your group that you are taking in for intake should be on that list if they have not attended Greek 101. If you have a question about that, please get in contact with me as soon as possible. If you're watching this and you realize you have a student that hasn't attended a Greek 101. Also, just so that you know, if your organization wants to reserve the NPHC facility, you can also click here and do that for your organization as well. The open hours that are listed here, these are times that students can go in and out of the house to hang out, to watch TV, to do homework, or to get supplies from the house. I know that since it's used for storage for a lot of groups, those are times where the house will be open that you can come in and out. Doors should be unlocked. If you want to reserve the house for an event outside of these hours, this is where you'll go. So let's go look at the intake packet. So right here, this is where I wanted to show you where you find the intake packet. So you'll click here, and then there should be a Word document download. Okay, so I have this Word document on this screen. I always, when I update it for the semester, I'll put when the date that it was last revised was. So I updated this over the summer. The first page you're going to see here are just major deadlines. So especially on a semester where you are participating in intake, these deadlines you want to keep in mind. So today we're having this Zoom informational session. The first upcoming deadline we have is the cover page, all of our Greek 101 dates, and then I'll get into these final documents that should be submitted if your organization is doing intake. Notice that intake closes Friday, December 12th. This is the last day of finals. We prefer and require intake to be within the windows that we offer. If your organization has a particular circumstance that would need to go outside of these dates, we are open to working with you. And by we, I mean the Student Activities Office, and WKU in general. However, you do need to communicate with us, and we will probably need a letter or some sort of official documentation from your national organization explaining the circumstances. So, if you ever need something outside of that window, you need to be in communication with our office sooner rather than later. But otherwise, all intake should take place within these dates. And it explains a little bit more about intake window here and the intake steps. All students are required to join a Greek organization at WKU. You must be a WKU student. So we do not take students that are from SkyCTC, the local community college. We don't take students that are from another institution or who are not enrolled. You must be enrolled at WKU. You must have a minimum 2.5 cumulative GPA, and that is non-negotiable to join. So if you have a GPA lower than that, you are not eligible for membership of any Greek organization at WKU. Now, if you get in the chapter and your GPA goes below that, we do not regulate that, but to join, that's the minimum requirement. The reasoning for that is when you join a Greek organization, you take on a lot of responsibilities, you take on a lot more financial obligations, and so we want to make sure that our students have a solid academic grounding before taking on more responsibilities in college. And then the last thing, I already touched on this, must attend a Greek 101 workshop. So the first document that will be due if you are doing intake or if you are not doing intake. So all chapters are required to submit this form at the beginning of every semester, and that is the intake cover page. That tells us in student activities and at WKU what organizations are participating in intake. And the reason why it's important for us to know is let's say that an organization is taking in a line. That gives us a chance to know that we need to be in communication with that organization about the Greek 101 requirements, with the GPA requirements, but it also keeps a risk management factor in there as well to help prevent instances of hazing or other things that may come up, risk management related to the organization. So by having that cover page, it tells us yes or no, your organization is doing intake for the semester. So every group needs to submit this form. So for this semester, it's due Thursday, September 4th, and you can submit that to me via email, or you can bring a hard copy in person. I will accept either option, but I do need every group to submit this intake form. If for whatever reason your organization is asking for an extension, again, I'll work with you, but I just need you, advisor, president, to be in communication with me. So just a little bit about what we need here. We need chapter advisor info, any state or regional director that might be relevant to the intake process, the chapter president information, and then the member coordinating membership intake, the intake process. So we want to know who that person is so that we're communicating with the correct people. And then for this page, this is essentially saying yes or no, you are participating in intake. So if yes, the big thing here is that we need to know the date of your scheduled informational. So because I guess the main reason why we need to know that is so that then we know how soon to follow up with you to check up on those Greek 101s and to check on those GPA requirements. So we need to know when your group is going to have some sort of informational. I know different organizations have different terms for this, but if that's a yes, we need that information. If you are unsure whether your organization is doing intake or not by this deadline, then we need you to fill out this section here to kind of explain what you're waiting on, whether it's your organization's headquarters or you're waiting for approval. So then we know if we need to follow up with you. And then If no, all you need to do is circle, highlight no, sign it, turn it in, and then I don't need anything else from you for that semester. And for example, we're in fall now. In the spring, same thing. You'll have to submit a new cover page to let us know whether you're doing intake or not. So that's the cover page. Everyone must turn it in. The next is the preliminary roster. So this is not necessarily individuals who are going to be on your line, but this needs to be anyone who you are considering or interests that attend your informational or that you may otherwise be considering to join your organization. And we need this form within 7 days, 1 week after the informational. So after you have that initial meeting, we need you to submit this form. If you are considering a member that has not attended your informational, you should still include them on this list. And what I will do is I'll go through name by name and check their GPA and check to ensure that they've attended Greek 101. And then I'll be in touch with the chapter president, advisor, or membership intake chair to kind of let you know, hey, Jane Smith has not attended Greek 101. Please have them attend one this week or come meet with me. This person you're thinking of or considering does not have the GPA requirements, they're ineligible for membership. And that's really important for them too, so that none of these potential new members are paying fees before they're eligible, because we really don't want that where someone goes through the intake process, they pay the money, and then on the WKU side, they're ineligible for membership. So anyone you're considering, please include here. Let's say you turn this in, and then a week later you have another interest that you're thinking about or that you think you would like to join your line. I need you to send me the name of that person so I can do that GPA check and that Greek 101 check. So within 1 week of that informational, that gives us time to check things for you all. Okay. This page, this is the notice of presentation of members and new member roster. So basically, this is your chapter notifying our office to say, we are having a probate. I know that's maybe not the correct terminology in higher ed nowadays, but that's the most common term used. We're having a probate. We're having a new member presentation. You're letting our office know that officially. And you are telling us who is on that roster. What is your line? What is your new member class? So that we will do one more final GPA check if we somehow they slip through the cracks. And then this is the list of names that will be added to your roster for the semester. Big thing to keep in mind. So any new member that you add to the roster, when you submit this, they're going to be added to the roster. So we do not allow in student activities what's called roster manipulation. So if you keep them on your roster through the end of the semester, then they are going to be factored into your overall chapter GPA, your new member GPA, and that's how it should be. If you take a new member off of your roster after they've already been added on, then you cannot add them back onto your roster at the university later, because that's called roster manipulation, and that can not capture the true GPA of your new member class. So just kind of keep that in mind. It's not necessarily intake packet specific, but it is important to know, because any name that's on here is who we are going to add to your new member roster unless we hear otherwise. So please keep that in mind. Again, once you add someone onto the new member roster, you have to keep them on through the rest of the semester. You can't take them off, or if you do take them off, then you can't add them back on. So once new members are on, they stay on, unless they're forever terminated from your organization. That's a different thing. If you have questions about that, get in touch with me. Let's see if I'm missing anything else here. Oh, big thing. It's highlighted here. This is due 14 days before your new member presentation. So we need to know at least 2 weeks in advance. I know most of the time your groups know sooner, so if you can give us an earlier heads up, that's appreciated. That also helps me if I like just personally want to attend your probate, that gives me time to maybe plan ahead so that I can be there to support your chapter. No one sees this besides myself and Andrew Rash, who adds the new members onto your roster. So it's not shared with anyone. I know that discretion is important to consider with intake. So please keep that in mind. Minimum 14 days before the probate or new member presentation. If you can do it sooner, that'd be preferred. And then this just goes over the policies of new member presentation. So this is also due, this page 7 and page 8 and 9, they're all due at the same time. They're all due within 14 days of your new member presentation, because again, this notifies us that you're having one. You are agreeing to what the university requires of a new member presentation, and you're giving us your official roster. So just going through these guidelines, there's nothing too crazy, I don't think, on here. The time limit where it says it's limited to 2 hours, that is more, I think, reflected based off of the building policies for DSU. If you're having a probate elsewhere, that may depend, but just kind of keep that in mind. The big thing, I don't know exactly where this is in the document. Yes. This bullet here, cane, staff, sticks, paddles, may be used as part of the performance, but may not be used as weapons to harm another individual. So that was just something that had come up a few years ago, but we want to make sure that all of our students feel safe. We don't want to hint or to allude to hazing in any way, shape, or form. So that's also part of the policies. Also, again, any type of weapons or demonstration of weapons shouldn't be included in a new member presentation. I don't think we've had as much of an issue with that with new member presentations, but maybe with other events on campus. This is really just you agreeing to those terms. The president will sign the student over membership intake. I know sometimes I'll get questions about what the MIP is. It's just the membership intake person, and then the advisor. If you ever have any questions about this, please let me know. I'm happy to talk through the intake packet. I think everything is laid out pretty clearly, but every semester do get questions, so that's why I wanted to do this video so that you would hear my voice talk you through the whole packet. The last thing that I want to talk about, and this is all caps highlighted here at the top. All intake forms must be submitted by the indicated date in order to qualify for the fraternity, sorority, or chapter of the year awards at the end of the year. So, with that being said, any intake forms that you need to submit for the semester, you need to submit them on time to be eligible for fraternity of the year, for sorority of the year, or for chapter of the year. And the reason for that is because there's risk management concerns related to getting the intake packet in on time. And we really, on the university side, we just really need to know when you all are doing intake, and we need to check in on those members to make sure that everything is being processed correctly. So this is your incentive to get things turned in on time. I will say I can work with you, but you just have to communicate. So if you're waiting on something from your headquarters, or there's a long holiday weekend and maybe in that 14-day window, you hit a 13-day window, you need to talk to me first. I can't promise that I'm going to accept it without penalty, but I'd rather have it at 13 days than 2 days. So just communicate with me if you have issues with the deadlines. But as an incentive, all forms must be turned in unless previously arranged with me and to be eligible. I haven't really had many groups have issues with this. Everyone's been pretty good the past couple years of getting things turned in on time. But I think part of it was because we implemented that as a policy. So please just make sure you get things turned in on time. I think that covers everything that I wanted to talk about as far as the intake packet goes. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'm happy to talk through anything intake or otherwise. I'm going to stop the share here. You all have a wonderful day, and go Tops.